Thank you very much. Joined, of course, by Kobe and Papa Smithy as we are into the draft. Aatrox and Urgot have already been taken off the table. And Kobe, as I throw it over to you, what champions would you like to see these teams playing? We know these priority picks, they're being eliminated one by one.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, maybe upset with Team Liquid's performance yesterday and will be deterred from that, but that is actually the type of composition, at least the champion select portion of the game, that I think they should continue with. Impact on a comfortable tank for the top lane, double lift on one of those late game carries for themselves, and try to play a more standard team fight.
And honestly, to your question, Quickshot, I don't know if either team here knows exactly which identity will get them furthest at Worlds 2018, because both these teams play pretty standard macro style, looking for the enemy to make mistakes, drafting priority in lanes, and playing the macro game out. However, as the competition around the world goes up, these teams have been struggling. So which team makes the bigger adjustments will either really help them or really hinder them, because it's away from the normal play style.
And from Mad Team's perspective, I really would focus on two players, Breeze and Kongwei, the jungler. These two guys to me have been really good for them. The Ezreal for Breeze, most played champion, definitely looked like a very qualified pick for him. He actually had a pretty early power spike they can try and use as well to take it to Team Liquid before Team Liquid can make their 5-on-5, front to back strategy come to fruition. I think that the jungler Kongwei has been exceptional in his early game play as well. So get him a jungler that gives him the ability to make those early game choices.
But then, of course, on the flip side, Team Liquid play through bot lane more often than not. So getting a 2v2 advantage in the laning phase, and honestly, expecting both sets of junglers to largely path around bot side is kind of the bread and butter of a Team Liquid versus Mad Team game.
And I want to see exactly what Team Liquid does. This is the first time we'll see Ole's Alistar in the World's group stage. Kai'Sa's banned away, so Double Lift will have to go to his next tier pick, and Mad Team have already secured themselves the Sion and the Tahm Kench.
Tahm Kench going to be just a defensive option here. Probably wants to pair it with something like a Varus, you would imagine. Very standard lane that we see very frequently. Kai'Sa off the board, so the standard high priority hyper carry is gone. Ezreal Tahm Kench would be the LMS regional choice, and we saw a lot of it in Korea as well. Let's see where Team Liquid go, because they can definitely just take a Varus and guarantee a pushing lane, but the Xayah has kind of been the flavor pick at Worlds 2018.
Yeah, I definitely think that that one will come through for Team Liquid. As you mentioned, Tahm Kench gives them the security on the bottom side to be able to outplay some attention if Team Liquid do try and get double lift fed early. Stand back, use the Devour defensively to try and deny some of those kills for themselves. And then if they end up getting an Ezreal, that is a marksman that you can actually lead for some amount of time, use your Abyssal Voyage to make an offensive play on the map elsewhere.
So we see a very early blind Syndra pick. I thought Auron would be snapped up on the side of Team Liquid for the tank v tank matchup, because Tahm Kench has already been committed to, so you're already looking like the Auron Horn is going to be uninterruptible more often than not. Mad Team digress away from the Ezreal, keeping up to date, looking for pressure. They take the Varus, but we'll see if we do see an Auron ban on the side of Mad Team.
Yeah, and of course, Pobelter playing that Syndra has 2 games in summer, 100% win rate, and a 5 KDA. I want to see if Team Liquid decide to ban some of the potential counters. I know Uniboy, he ran that Zoe yesterday and showed great proficiency, which is one of the options you could run into the Syndra.
And the theory is, when you take the Syndra where you do, no marksman has been taken. Ezreal Varus could be double banned in the second round, so that's why you see the Varus taken, but the Auron is kind of the cost you're paying, so both teams trading something they would really like to have selected.
And I think Impact has plenty of tanks. Actually, any champion classified as a tank in the game, he is exceptional on and will be able to play. So, banning out, yes, the Auron with the super long range engage that is fairly annoying. It will go, somewhere for them, but I don't know if they want to drop too many more into that role.
See the Graga span here. It's a bit of a flex span. You can play at top lane and trade just fine with the Auron. Reason for this is you look at Mad's team, and it's probably going to be Varus keeping Ginsu Rage stacked as long as possible. Doesn't want to be displaced out of a fight and lose any damage.
What would it take to see Sion in Impact's hands? We'll find out in a moment or two. LeBlanc is banned away.
Well, it would take Magic or maybe a new game, because Sion is already on Mad Team.
I wanted to say Singed. I wanted to say Singed. I don't know why I said
Singed is actually
Sion. I was
very
thinking
real.
of Impact champions when you said all the tanks. Sorry for disrupting. Talia's locked in. Kobe, take it away.
I was going to go over the Gragas ban that you were talking about as well. I like banning Gragas when I'm the team with the Tom Kench. Because Tom Kench, one of the biggest annoyances is you deny a CC and engage from someone, and the Gragas Cax knocks both people then back into the team. So I do like that ban, and it kind of opens up there for this Taliyah flex pick. Because that Taliyah can go to the jungle. Kongyue can use it for a lot of burst damage, or it could go to Breeze still.
Well, let me introduce you to a lot of burst damage. If the Nocturne is locked in on the side of Team Liquid, this would actually fill out the draft in a very easy to understand way, because Shen Nocturne was the big duo at the start of the LCK season because Nocturne dives in, a bit of extra health on the Shen, and an extra CC. However, the windows are going to be so different because we're seeing post-6 play from Team Liquid, and then a Taliyah who has hard CC in the lanes already selected.
We also had a Nocturne Shen combination very early in our season coming from Cloud9. So Team Liquid also very well aware of the strength of this duo. You know, have the Stand United on top of the Nocturne when you go in, try and take down that target. But again, with the Cassiopeia lock in here for Uniboy into Pobelter, this mid lane has huge potential for damage output if the junglers do get involved early, and I think that both of these ones will.
I mean, definitely you look at a lane like this that can swing both ways, the Cassiopeia versus Syndra matchup. You fall behind enough on Cassiopeia and Syndra's one rotationing you, and your mid-range really is held against you. The converse can be true. However, I look at Kongyue and say he's got some really appetizing lanes to try to playmake around, and some of them even pre-level 6.
Well, you know it's going to be around Uniboy, and the reason for that, he doesn't know how to fall behind on Cassiopeia. 5 games played in summer with a 38 KDA and a 100% win ratio. Let's see if Uniboy can step up.
I will say that 2 of those were counter picks into Rise, which is a great matchup, but he definitely has a good handle on Cassiopeia, and we expect there to be fire.
And it's one of the players, when you look at the Mad team, that we have had discussions and questions around, will he be able to step up? Will he be able to perform on the international stage? And this is now where you have to prove in a matchup that you're experienced, you can dominate. You've proven you have dominated in your own league, Kobe.
His Zoe definitely was impressive to me, keeping them in that game for so long and doing a tremendous amount of work for them. This time around, it's going to be a completely different role because Cassiopeia does need a team to play around her, and we'll see if Mad Team can bring it all together.
And both these teams desperate for a win, neither of them coming away with a win in their first 2 games. First round robin ends in just one more best of 1 after this. So it's critical that you get your Worlds 2018 started right now.
And if you do not want it to end by Wednesday next week, you need to pick up wins today. And when the round robin concludes, I believe this group will wrap themselves up on Tuesday. For now, Team Liquid and Mad Team are fishing for their first win here in Group C. And we've touched on the early game impact that Mad Team can have and how it can be unlocked by Kongyue, so that is where my attention will be focused for these next few minutes.
Yeah, let's just explain some of the jungler mid laner interactions because we do expect these to come together very early on in this game. Cassiopeia almost always will take the phase rush because she can proc it so easily, and the extra speed allows her to keep up the damage. This is twofold extremely effective against Nocturne because Nocturne, when you go in and you get the fear tether down, there's 1.5 seconds where Cassiopeia can easily proc the phase rush. If that is procced before fear goes off, once it does, she phase rush runs away from you and you don't get any extra damage off. It basically negates the effect of the fear going off in the first place because she's running so quickly and reducing slow.
You might even be able to conserve the cleanse in a scenario like that, as Breeze and K actually very brazen invading into this brush around the entrance here for Team Liquid. They very much want to get Deep Vision down and keep TL accountable.
Ole was waiting in that tri-bush for something to happen. Okay, we'll get the Trinket Ward down before any further follow-up. And as it stands, we will get ourselves established for a traditional lane.
And let's talk about why they did. It's not just to get Q-Poke onto the enemy Alistar. It's to ensure that no leash is coming down for the Nocturne, slow down his first buff clear. We already know Taliyah powers through the jungle and wants to be proactive before Nocturne even has ultimate. So eyes onto the duo lane, guaranteeing that the Nocturne pace is slower, is extra advantage to the side of Kongyue.
Yeah, we have a couple of Durant shields coming out for both the marksmen. We have potions for all of these solo laners. Both of them are running the Inspiration second as well for Empowered. corrupting potions to the Chug early on in the lane. So there will be a lot of sustain for most of these laners, and we have pretty standard jungle routes as well. So the early game so far should just be fairly calm and go according to plan. Nice stun there from Pobelter, though, for some early harassment.
Yeah, very nicely done. He's got the minion dematerializer and is starting to unlock. Got the corrupting potion as well. So good start to the laning phase, but obviously the moment Uniboy gets close to that petrifying gaze, there is some kill pressure, and Smithy's already got the first Scuttle Crab.
Good move from Ole to come up. K can do the cheeky thing of coming over and just eating the Scuttle Crab and disengaging it from the jungler. So want to keep Tom Kench away from the Scuttle from your jungler, as it seems like vertical jungling might just be purely inactive.
And already we're seeing some semblance of team play from Team Liquid, which was one of my big criticisms from them early on in the group stage was, a lack of that team play and coordination, as well as a lack of planning in going for these objectives. However, in this game, we just saw a small bit of that on display. The bottom lane pushing up, helping with not only the Scuttle Crab, but also the blue invade, which now Kongwei on the Talia will not be able to get.
Ooh, good little knock up there from Ole onto Breeze, but this is a flash forward from K. He's looking for the Devour.
The
a tongue lashing gets the stun, gobbles up Ole. There's support from Kongya. First blood picked up by Mad Team.
And Mad Team are going to survive as well. K does not go down to the burn. Huge first blood for them on the bottom side because they had just been counter jungled and Talia had the blue taken away. This is a very good consolation prize, though, as they're able to get that goal.
Mad Team so desperately needed that. Instead of just taking the topside blue buff around the vision that Kongyue had, he re-invaded his side, was seen on a ward from Team Liquids. They were aware that his pathing meant he would go without a blue buff that would likely be in a really tricky spot. Instead, we watch the timings here. Notice they now see the Talia coming in onto vision as Ole's going for the headbutt. Pulverize from here. If he gets stunned, he's done. And that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, K was able to flash and get that last auto for the full passive stack, which allows him to hit the full length tongue for the stun. Stunned! That tongue definitely did stung.
And it is exactly where we expected it from. It was Kongya, it was the Talia. He has been one of the game-changing players for Mad Team here in the group stage. And obviously having that early game impact, we need to keep tracking him, how quickly he can get around the map. That Weaver's Wall and Paranoia, they're going to be working together to impact these lanes.
And the heartbreaking thing from a TL perspective is it seemed like they were building upon the plan that Double Lift discussed in his interview that we aired at the start of the day, talking about how they were too safe in their game against KT. Then in their following game, they just weren't able to execute. I really loved their execution around the Scuttle, the blue buff steal. It was going to pay off in dividends, holding back Kongya. But now, after getting the successful kill, things are reset a lot and Mad get a bit of a reprieve.
Now, that kill in the bottom lane also was not just about the gold that went over with First Blood. It also means there are no flashes on these melee supports that are trading very heavily in the bottom lane and should be attracting even more jungler attention. As you can see on the minimap already, Smithy is in the river. It was trying to get in place for that Scuttle, but he's being chased off because they have a recall here from Pobelter. So there's no way Team Liquid can actually get that Scuttle control, and it is going to go over to Kongwei.
It is just a brawl this entire game. Bottom lane is non-stop trading over and over and over. And we see a teleport coming in now from Breeze with that teleport Varus as he gets back to lane. It's only a minute gold lead for now. The wave will slowly move towards Team Liquid and Double Lift. He's returned to lane with that BF sword. And again, this is just a good start as Kongya will be starting off the Dragon.
And I love that you talk about how it's not just about kill credit or anything like that when it comes to the first blood. The teleport AD carry is the one involved in the first kill, gets back with a better shot. The Tom Kench doesn't need to commit to have lane presence, can just queue from range and then look for an all-in much more situationally. Those things coming together coalesce in this first Drake start that there's no realistic way for Team Liquid to try to contest.
Yep, Ocean Drake is going to go over to Mad Team, and that is going to help sustain them through this laning phase. The bottom lane tipping in their favor has definitely allowed them a lot of extra control now.
Looks like we've had some very early Drakes today as well. A little bit of a pivot to the gameplay style, and Mad Team will be very, very content with that. I'm looking at the CS numbers. Some small deficits in top and mid lane. Not a huge amount to write off right now. And obviously that Finnish Codex was picked up by Kongya.
And you can also see, you know, Team Liquid have some eyes towards the bottom lane, but some deep wards that Mad Team have been able to get into the jungle. Saw Smithy walk over here and threaten the ultimate from Nocturne, so they just backed off, and they're able to avoid that for now.
It's great warding spots that you can pick up as a solo queue support. The lane ward against Rammus is an old one that people had, and now we're seeing some Nocturne spotting wards. Can, of course, not cover the entire map. That gives you some good ideas. TL invading together, they're actually looking for Kong here.
Yeah, you got a deep ward down here. They put the control ward in Mad Team's jungle. Not sticking around to try and find him at Wolves, though.
It is a promising sign, though, to see how, you know, Pobelter moves to back up Xmithy. Earlier, Ole moved to back up Xmithy. Some of those weaknesses we saw in yesterday's games haven't shown themselves yet.
Take into account, too, that Team Liquid do have access to the Stand United from Impact. And if you see the mini-map, he's at his turret right now. So Team Liquid communicating a little bit about a possible play on the bottom side. You can tell they were trying to set it up. Mad Team, their top laner Lang, should be also talking about this and say, hey, you know, Shen is backing off very deep. Maybe they're looking for something on the bottom side to try and combine with Shen and Nocturne.
Got a lot of next level. So we see other deep wards finding enemies with globals. The invades are coordinated, but so far it's all about the posturing and not the actually pulling the trigger. Here are TL spotted on a ward.
I mean, Team Liquid are fishing. They're just looking for a target. They're moving the bait around and just looking for someone to jump onto with Paranoia. The Mad Team, they did not present a target. We can assume, based on the way the bot lane left, they were communicating, as you mentioned, Kobe. And for now, Team Liquid are yet to get on the kill board, but they are farming up very well. They are ahead in gold, despite being behind in kills. And you can see Pobelter doing fantastic for the time being, plus 20 CS, and he's leaving his lane thanks to this constant shove. This is a very good sign for Team Liquid in the early stages of this game. And they've managed to get through that early laning phase. I mean, Papa Smithy, you were talking in the draft about how the Talia, the Cassiopeia had some tools that it could work with pre-6. Now they have to be a little more cautious post-6 because of Team Liquid.
And both of these junglers have long-range ultimates that can allow them to close the gap. Right now, Talia in lane here, looking for a possible play on bottom side. They were looking probably for another engage from Ole, who has been using the headbutt pulverize for harassment within lane to go for those chunks. He doesn't go for it here, though, and kind of the protection movement goes unwarranted.
The standard laning has led to about a 13 CS in mid lane, but the advantage in bot lane is the more surprising one, especially because Breeze had teleport to get back to lane and thus was much less likely to miss any minion waves. That is, of course, a product of the fact that Team Liquid have put down 3 control wards bot side to control the area. They're giving up CS. We might see a player. Here's Kongya.
Yeah, I held my breath for the Weaver's Wall, but the angle wasn't quite there. Impact had flash available to him as well. It's going to be a little bit difficult to make that stick. And at the end of the day, Kongya still looking for more opportunities. And Smithy hasn't yet used that Nocturne ultimate, but he hasn't needed to. Team Liquid are doing just fine for the first 10 minutes, and they've definitely got the tools to assassinate really anybody they want to when you look at the fairly squishy champions, with the exception of that Scion.
Yeah, fairly slow-moving early game, kind of as we prophesized. Here we go, though. Talia will head back down towards the bottom side. And again, we now have level 6s on the support, so that possibility of transitioning with the Abyssal Voyage is also there. Ole is positioning very aggressively in the brush, though, and they've already called Smithy, so this might be the go button.
There's just so much darkness around bot side without even having to factor in something like Nocturne ulting. The Breeze just has this unenviable scenario of, am I safe to take that CS? The answer there was no, but he's able to get away anyway with the Tom Kench W.
And they did catch a glimpse of Smithy stepping out of the Tribus with their control ward, I believe, but mid lane is Pobelter under attack.
All right, Pobelter sidesteps the ultimate from Scion. Stand United's coming down. There's darkness. Beautiful timing from Smithy. A petrifying gaze locks him up as the wall goes down, and the response ultimate keeps Team Liquid alive.
That is a picture of both teams very, very well aware of where the next fight is going to occur. All ultimates used. Actually, Ole got his combo flashed.
That was very, very good. That means Breeze is an easy target for next time. Ole loses his flash in the tray. Impact is now stood on top of that miasma, needs to try and get away. Sidesteps out, nobody goes down.
We forget that in such an even game that's had such a slow pace, all the summoners are up, everything is up defensively. It was a 3-man petrifying gaze coming through from the Cassiopeia, and yet that wasn't going to be something worth shouting about because no one was in position from Mad Team to actually capitalize on it. However, finally we have 4 or 5 minute cooldowns that are going to have to be given up for about the next 15, 16 minutes into the game. Theoretically, the next time we're coming through these ult cooldowns, the playmaking can start.
It makes a potential Mountain Drake fight all the more spicy if either team decides to go for it and hasn't done their due diligence. Not having the flashes available could come back to hurt them.
That has been a hot topic for Team Liquid so far this group stage, Trevor. Rushing into a lot of these neutral objectives. We'll see if they wait up for the cooldowns this time around. As we said, both teams were very well aware and ready for the confrontation bottom side last time, but this time around it's going to be about keeping track of what was used exactly.
One thing some teams would do in the scenario that Breeze is in, where he traded flashes with the Alistair as now against double lift throw his summoners up, would actually be to just end the laning phase, go top lane, and try to take the turret away from Shen. Attack the Shen with the global is a pretty common strategy. Now with the Drake up, that does disincentivize the play, but it feels like if they're not willing to fully contest that, kind of a sitting duck for the next Nocturne ultimate to just rampage through Breeze on the bot side.
Yeah, it's interesting because on one side, double lift, the AD carry does have everything available, so it should be very safe with the inherent safety of a Xayah ultimate in addition to summoner spells. But Poe Belter on the Syndra had to use both of his, whereas Uniboy with the Cassiopeia is in a similarly safe state with cleanse and flash available, so it's going to be at a difference of backline carries here for both teams and how they can position.
What I love is the entirety of this game, both teams have shown an understanding of their opponent's composition, positioning, spells available, etc. And you see this, I know that you have a response, so I'm going to position accordingly. Let's see if Breeze can get away. Remember, no flash, not in range for Devour, and now no visibility. Team Liquid are on the board. Doublelift gets a kill.
Intelligent shot calling here from Team Liquid this time. They go for the carry with no escapes, force the flash out of Tom Kench, and after he's away, there is absolutely no escape for Breeze. Meanwhile, Mad Team have no recourse. They just have to reset.
Kay didn't want to flash towards Breeze because he was worried about how much reinforcement might be coming through the river. Clear Wall's used, but actually stops Mad Team from walking up.
Yeah, I think that may have been Kongya saying, I don't want you to challenge this, bros. Locks the door. That's a route after a stun onto Liang, but there's no further follow-up. Team Liquid, what is the call? Re-engage for now. That's Taunt doesn't catch onto Liang, and he's able to escape. Poe Belter is now moving a little bit further away as Doublelift and Olo, they get caught out. Featherstorm flies, flash is available for Doublelift, and he's holding on to it. No threat yet. I'm waiting for more follow-up from Mad Team, but they've used their ultimates, they've used their engaged tools, and they're chasing a loss.
Execution from TL is just more decisive than Mad Team. They seem a little bit all over the place. We already noted the wall. At the same time, Sion dives into Poe Belter with the rest of his team kiting away. They don't get an advantage, but with 4 members, they want some turret damage.
Yeah, they really do. That's a 3-man knockup from Ole. Doublelift's coming back in. Still flash available. Spits out the development. Look at the taunt! Impact arrives at just the right time. Poe Belter scatters the weak, and Mad Team lose 3.
Mad Team overstepped their bounds here, and Team Liquid with the huge punish. That was an Ole triple knockup into Impact triple taunt. Absolutely well-placed crowd control.
And it's Impact turning back the clock. Shen top has always been his strong top lane champion. The timing here was actually very difficult for us to tell because it was in between 3 members of the enemy, but a 3-man pulverize into a 3-man taunt. Vintage Impact TL with a big advantage.
And of course, that replay brought to you by Ace of Predator, and it was a gigantic swing, 3,000 gold lead now. Really, really good communication between Team Liquid. Ole gets everybody locked under the tower, and it allows Team Liquid to take a significant lead at 16 minutes.
Yeah, that time around, it felt like Mad Team were a bit frustrated with the Dragon fight and how they had lost out. As soon as Breeze revived and ran back, they were looking to try and salvage something from this situation, but that is the sunk cost fallacy. They should have just let Team Liquid walk away with the Mountain Drake and leave it at that. In the end, now it's Team Liquid 4 kills with the gold lead ahead.
You just don't need to listen in to understand what they were calling that time, Kobe. They were saying, well, at least we can walk up and get them off this turret. And don't factor in the Shen ultimate. Impact does the rest. And now Mad Team are responding to the beat of TL's drum. as the control wards have been well placed topside, but by both teams for now, the Rift Herald's still up for a few minutes.
Yeah, and of course Team Liquid, with that tower secured in the bottom lane, they can now start moving around the map. They've got that Shen, they've got that Nocturne. The more open this map becomes, the happier Team Liquid will be in a position with the lead. Unstoppable Onslaught comes in. Liang also uses the Righteous Glory, and that was a defensive flash from Pobelter, paying the respects due, sniffing around for a potential counter-engage. Smithy was waiting in the wings, but he's holding the trigger for his ultimate for now.
And that's a commitment of 5 members from Mad Team. So during that time, Impact is pushing up the bottom lane minions on the Shen, as well as keeping 3 members of Team Liquid up by the top turret. Team Liquid are threatening to take more objectives here without an answer from Mad Team. They did burn Pobelter's flash, though, and you have to keep that in mind for the next team fight.
We promised you standard macro, dear viewers. You're getting it. Nice little pressure here. It's going to have to be responded to by Sion. He doesn't have his ult to join. Soon we will see Shen with that Stand United advantage. This all seems to be setting up for a Rift Herald start, but for now, maybe it's even a turret dive from 2 directions.
All right, Uniboy has cleanse and flash. The threat alone will be enough to secure the tower, and that is exactly what Team Liquid wanted.
Some restraint showed by Team Liquid here, not rushing ahead into the possible dive here without full information of the locations of Mad Team. In the end, they do get the objective, and that was what was necessary. Scuttlecrab Vision is going to be here for Mad Team, but they cannot contest the Rift Herald.
Bloodless objective takes something I'm very used to from the LCK. It's always I can die followed by, but do we need it to actually get the objective? They get both. There's no way for Uniboy or Mad Team to outplay. Nice little 4,000 gold lead for TL, and not having to expend too much to get it.
Yeah, we should position ourselves in Mad Team shoes now. Remember, the one thing they did just get, their one advantage, was burning Pobelter's flash. So their eyes should be on this Syndra carry in the mid lane as their possible next target.
The problem with that target play is they don't really have the sort of team that assaults the backline so easily. We saw Sion trying to drift his way there. That's honestly their best way. If you think of Varus and Cassiopeia, they're much better playing front to back, just killing the closest target. Theoretically, the first target, because Rageblade, Blade the Ruin King, and also Cassiopeia will do a lot of work there. But when it comes to actually getting access to a Syndra, that's tricky.
Yeah, going to be very, very difficult. And of course, you know, our attention was going on Kongya. We had expectations and high praise for this jungler from Mad Team, and he wasn't able to find a way into the game. And I think I want to give some credit to Team Liquid's early game. They were fishing, they were looking for opportunities. So Mad Team have been on the defensive for at least 20 minutes.
We spent so much time talking about what Team Liquid were doing, largely around things like scuttle control, that in that time, there were no entrances for the Taliyah. Speaking of entrances, nice little body blocking from Ole. Now the game is at the point where they don't have a lot of map control, and if you go on a one-way trip, you just die as Kongya. So that's the big problem here, is he hasn't found the latitude to use a Weaver's Wall since that Drake contest.
Stand United is available for Team Liquid if Mad Team go for this. That would be a risky engage for them to take, considering they have equal roams from Team Liquid already moving up, and the tower is about to go down, so they think wiser of it. It looks like they will cede some more territory.
Yeah, and just a reminder of the stakes. Both of these teams at 0 and 2 here in group stages, and both of these teams carrying the weight of expectations from their regions. Team Liquid is North America's hope, it's shining light. Currently winless. Mad Team has to prove that the LMS is more than just the Flash Wolves. You know, they've recently promoted, and both of these teams will be fighting tooth and nail to pick up this win, but Team Liquid in the driving seat, 5,000 gold up, 3 towers to 0. They're equal on Dragons, they're ahead in kills. They have all the tools they need to maintain this lead.
Yeah, Mad Team, still a bunch of young guys with a lot of hope here. I mean, coming from the AHQ Challenger squad, bringing in Breeze and Kay with some pretty good performances for themselves. Let's see if they can handle this dragon, though. It's another mountain, so Team Liquid are really threatening some objectives as they transition into the mid-game. Double stacking mountain drakes mean that this barren area needs to be warded for Mad Team.
So we have a pretty good idea of how TL continue to move up their league. Just following the checklist, getting every easy objective that presents itself to them. When you've lost map controls, as Taliyah comp from Mad Team here, the best way to find a way back in is to get that big fat stack of control wards and try to set up Baron vision, because they have a very strong team for taking Baron. It's going to be a Rage Blade, Blade of the Ruin King, AD carry, Cassiopeia. Needs no introduction about Baron speed. And then if the enemy's coming to you, the problems they have of backline access become far less relevant, because Sion tanks it for days and you start fishing with Seismic Shoves, Varus ultimates, etc. So the turn off Baron and their Baron speed, Mountain Drake or no, is Mad Team's best way to make Team Liquid come to them.
And we've already seen just how both teams are fully aware of the kits, the summoner spells, the ultimates. And the reason I pay that attention, Pobelter's Flash is now available. It's a couple seconds away. That window of opportunity has now closed. And Pobelter will be feeling a little more comfortable with that Banshee's Veil, the Ludens, his Flash available to him, so that Team Liquid can start once again moving around the map and trying to set up some plays. And I've been very impressed with his stuns. Smithy forced to throw down the Rift Herald. I think that was about a timeout, obviously. But this will just back up Impact. Get a little boop onto that tower with a little bit of luck.
It's in the lane they want it in, though, because it heaps pressure onto this Sion, and it's also, if you ever react to this with more members, going to open up a Baron start for TL.
And you can see what they're doing in the meantime. Smithy here moving up, getting very deep vision as the Nocturne, putting these wards throughout the jungle so that he can hover between two lanes and threaten that Nocturne ultimate for one of those picks. Team Liquid, as you can see with this vision toggle, have absolutely blanketed the map and really forced Mad Team into a small corner.
They really control so little. They control their red buff area and the minions pushing into the carries of Mad Team. This is suffocation coming in from TL. They're not willing to move into Baron just yet. They don't actually have the best team for tanking Baron. Alistair and Shen, not the best duo, because they're all over the map. So for now, they're not contesting things like red buffs, but they're going to get very little advanced warning, will Mad Team, when TL finally think the time is right.
Yeah, and with two Mountain Drakes, they may not be able to tank it for very long, but it won't need very long to kill it. Nocturne and Xayah will shred through that objective. You can see a number of control wards in the inventory for Team Liquid as well, so they're just going to push that vision beyond the river. You mentioned Mad Team, you know, the suffocating vision under the effects of what feels like a permanent paranoia.
Yep.
They are so deep in their own territory. They've conceded 4 towers. They lost their red. They're losing their blue. This is just very, very good textbook play with a lead from Team Liquid.
All right, I'm starting to try and theory craft some crazy team fights here from Mad Team, looking for a way out of it for them. And here's my latest one, Papa.
I'm listening,
Tell me
I'm
what you
listening.
think.
All right.
Now, let's say we have a flank from the Talia conduit, and he puts up a wall behind Team Liquid for Sion to use the ultimate and crash them into, force them into a smaller area and get that knockup.
Oh, I see an upgrade. K can then deliver Uniboy for a perfect petrifying game.
I'm there with you.
And there you go. That's how they win the team fights.
But unfortunately, when you're getting to the next level of crazy, that's when you're thinking, okay, but else probably Team Liquid find a win. That's the thing, is we're already getting so speculative. We're talking multi-pronged ultimates to find a way back in. Else Team Liquid are still in the driver's seat.
And it is good to kind of emphasize this, because it has not been a good start to the group stage for Team Liquid, but it is not too late at all. You know, this is very good that we're seeing more planning from them, more restraint in the areas where they needed it, and actually much better setup. So moving forward in the group stage, this does bode well for them, something to try and build on.
Yes, exactly. And we cannot see the same mistakes that Team Liquid have already shown, or they will throw away the lead that they have accrued. If a few team fights go awry and Sion manages to find in, or K can set up an Abyssal Voyage, the Mad Team, they need multiple game-changing fights to close back the 7K.
But I think we also have to have high expectations. This is TL, the first seed from North America. If this game is at the same game state at 40, 42 minutes, you think forward to some of the opposition they'll face and say they won't have that much rope to hang themselves there. They will be assaulted at different points in the game. So you have to look at them to be assertive. You can't play complete loss minimization. Even when you think of the team most adept to come back in these scenarios, in SK Telecom, they would make controlled risks when they have to. The risks here to make a play for TL are very small, but if they make no play, they give scaling to Mad Team.
Feels like you've just given us a homework assignment, Papa Smithy, and that would be to increase the vision here around Baron and look for the pick.
You're my star student. You're great.
As long as they have impact back to the bottom lane, pushing up those minions, the pressure will mount on Mad Team, and eventually you go for the misstep. You have Nocturne, you have Shen, you can make the call.
Okay, you're almost becoming a teacher's pet here, Kobe. Calm down, calm down. We'll get from there, but we're looking for TL to actually start the Baron. You have to start baiting at some point. You're feeling great about your vision. Here's the start. Okay, TL, I'm impressed.
All right, vision superiority for Team Liquid. We were looking at the Baron pit from Mad Team's perspective, but they're not going to commit and they're going to back away. There's not enough tankiness.
The problem with actually starting the Baron is that Impact is the one with the most armor. He's the tank, but he's also the split pusher. So they can't tank the Baron for an exceedingly long time right now, not really having anyone with enough armor / lifesteal to hold it for that long. So that's why they pulled off so quickly there and did not actually go for the complete kill, even with 2 Mountain Drakes.
But again, you can't be defined by what you can't do. They still have to keep pushing these risks. Again, we've seen plays where an Olaf will patrol outside the pit, then flash in to try to smite it. You have to start getting creative, because just taking Drake every time it spawns every 6 minutes doesn't really change the pace of the game.
Force Mad Team to come out and contest the Baron. Then you use your collapsing spells of Nocturne combined with Shen. Nocturne ultimate will deny the enemy team some coordination while also assisting Shen for one of those big taunts within the team. But let's see. We've been building up for this a lot, and Mad Team have been defending well without giving up anything else so far. Team Liquid, though, fed up with it and taking down mid turret.
They're just going to brute force the mid lane. They're going to take their 5th tower of the game, and Xmithie was waiting in the wings.
They land.
He still remains 100% kill participation. There is a Devour onto Impact. He's going to manage to escape with his life for now. Gets stunned by the tongue lashing. Keep your eyes on Xmithie. Still has the potential to jump in, and yes, Impact took a lot of damage and lost his flash, but Team Liquid got the objective.
And one of the big things about Shen is he can go shove the wave, even recall to base to regenerate if he needs, and then he can use his Stand United to get back out on the field. Now, with the addition of Warmogs, I guess you never even have to go back to base to heal, so he's just going to heal right back up in lane and continue the pressure.
Red buff is stolen by Xmithie. The free camps are starting to be reduced to Raptors and Krugs when it comes to side of Mad. As you say, Impact is full health and ready to impact the map as well. That's an awkward turn of phrase. However, he's pushing in. What will TL do next?
It's an 8,000 gold lead for Team Liquid. They played the Baron game a moment ago. It was enough to pull Mad towards them. That unlocked the Dragon and the mid turret. The last remaining non-base turret for Mad Team is in the top lane. And it just feels like it is a matter of time before Team Liquid decide to brute force it and look towards that next objective, look towards that next tool. For now, they have to spend the gold. They have been fighting for a while.
I think we are seeing a little bit of trepidation and kind of the ramifications of Team Liquid losing their opening 2 games. Losing your opening 2 games will have that effect, on a team. So they're not looking to even get into maybe 70-30% almost situations right now is what it feels like, and that it is going slower. To Papa Smithie's point, we're almost at 30 minutes here. Even though Team Liquid do have such solid control, not actually delivering one of those big death blows yet.
You just think of solo queue games where you get a massive lead, start having fun, Yasuo's 1v5ing, and then, oh wait, maybe we've gone too far. Maybe too many kills have been granted and the game goes the other way. Now, the kills haven't been granted here, but the minion kills, the time to just get Mad to 45,000 gold total, you'll see in the top right of the screen, has happened. And that means there are items where if Team Liquid actually finally pulls the trigger and stuffs it up, there's going to be a Varus free hitting at the back line that could potentially change the composition of this game.
I mean, I was looking at the items a moment ago, and you see 3 items starting to be stacked for the main carries and tanks for Mad Team. Rambion's Omen picked up, Void Stop, Ragebait Hex Drinker as well for Breeze's Varus. And as you mentioned, that gold lead becomes less and less significant, and the opportunity to punish and engage with the Cassiopeia and Varus, which do so much damage in the late game, continues to develop and grow.
Especially single target damage, and that means eventually there'll be a time where Impact takes the wrong taunt, where someone overrates their tankiness, and shouldn't be surprised if they're summarily dismissed.
Here we go. Mad Team have been able to weather most of the storm. Team Liquid slowly been increasing the lead, even if it is a very slow pace. Double control wards are used already, but Mad Team, since they have some vision throughout their red quadrant, they aren't too scared that Team Liquid are actually on the Baron with the Mountain Drakes. Impact does get 1 hit on the turret, but that is not enough.
He gets a Scion ultimate, though, and then another of the few ways that Mad Team have to engage are removed. This should be a time where you start counting trinkets. There are no blue trinkets available. What did TL do next?
While they're sitting inside the pit, at some point you have to think they're going to rush it. It's always awkward when you have this passage of play because Team Liquid generated a significant lead very early on into the game. And now we're evaluating how they extend that lead. What do they do next? And for the time being, it is commitment to this impact bot lane. But the vision just keeps being denied by Mad.
I'm willing to bet that that was the last ticket they were waiting for. They just had a recall while Guardian Angel was picked up for Xmithy. So they've just synced, as you can see, 4 members gone back to base now. This should be the last purchase before Team Liquid let the hammer drop.
Start counting. I see 9 control wards in the inventory of TL. You start putting multiple members, including the Alistair, into the enemy red side. You take over as much of it as possible. And then there's no more waiting. It has to be soon for TL.
All right, Mad Team, they should be ready for this. Scion ultimate is back up, but he's in the fountain.
Oh, that's a very good stun onto K. Xmithy's looking for the fear, manages to find it, blows up K before he can do anything. Liang completes a teleport, but you're too late to the party, mate. Now Impact sitting on the front line has a 2-man scatter the week, pushes Breeze and Kongya back. Team Liquid will be happy with the kill on the support, and they're peeling back for the Baron.
All right, 1 kill's been picked up. They have the advantage over the Baron area, but still, Mad Team have some possibilities of poking around. It looks like they're gonna go for it too, with decent amount of wards left up around the red buff.
But there is carry showing in the solo lane, so Mad Team like, wait, no one's starting Baron. I guess we can just return here. Abyssal Voyage will soon be up for K to be able to get to the pit again. They're just sitting here for a pick, but I don't think Mad Team are too rushed.
Xmithy does go for a fear possibility on Scion. He's very tanky.
He is indeed. A lot of CC starting to stack and chain. Stoneplay will keep Liang alive a little while longer. Manages to survive everything that Team Liquid throw at them, including Unleashed Power. Chain of Corruption now locks down Impact. He's starting to back away. Liang will be regenerating this very, very shortly. And for Team Liquid, I'm not sure throwing everything at Scion was the best call.
Well, it's been so long that K revived on Tom Kench and already is back out to the field. So it has returned to a 5-on-5 state. Infernal Drake is up. Baron, though, blast cone over, and they're starting it up. This is going to be it. Double Mountain Drake burning through. Ole trying to clear out the vision.
It's so fast!
I can't believe how quick that's going, but here comes Kongya! Gets interrupted by Ole! It's guy's dead already! Blown up inside the pit! Team Liquid, that was a little more dramatic than it needed to be, but they get the Baron, and they maintain control.
They finally found a time they were willing to pull the trigger. No 60-40s, no 65-35s, but 75-25, 3/4 of the time. They knew it was going to be just fine there. They pick it up, they finally get their prize. It may be late, but late is better than never.
Fancy little play here as well. Linebacker Ole tries to knock Tuli off the wall. In the end, flashes in anyway, does get into the pit, and we're checking small boxes here, right? But you see every member of Team Liquid stop damage on Baron. It does seem like a very basic thing, but it is an important thing as they all turn to kill the jungler and they don't let it get into smite range.
We call a play like that from Ole a party pulverizer in the LCK. He just wanted to celebrate the Baron he was going to get by just hitting the floor. Finally, TL have done it. They picked up the Baron. They'll back it up with an Infernal. Now the gold lead is starting to really reflect the game state we saw the better part of 15 minutes ago. And now it's time for those inhibitor turrets to start a rolling.
Good luck holding Impact back now with Baron empowered side lane and the fact that Team Liquid can a little more comfortably play the 1-3-1 or put different carries in different lanes. You can see ProBelter shoving in the top lane. They've got themselves 2 minutes left on this Baron buff.
And this is the time where you get a big Baron buff power play because there are a lot of objectives to roll down. The dominoes will start rolling for Mad Team. Cassiopeia, not with the biggest wave clear. So fishing for a Q is not what she wants to do, as this soon will be another inner turret, the final for TL.
A ginormous gold lead now for Team Liquid, over 11,000 gold for themselves. It's kind of fitting that Team Liquid now trying to use their money to crush their opponents as they knock on the door of the inhibitor turrets. And there's almost 2 minutes left on this Baron buff for them to do it.
If you got it, you got to use it, right? You got to flex on your opponents any way you can. Lots of pressure being put down here. Not easy for Shen to split push an inhibitor turret, though. I think TL might have to get a bit more hasty if they want this game to end soon. About 1.5 minutes left on the Baron.
And it's one of those situations where you're already in a deficit and the potential for comeback is so challenging. Mad Team need a number of things to go right in the right order in order to pull this back. Liang's trying to deal with this minion wave, and for the time being, the 13,000 gold deficit and pressure on 3 waves, 3 inhibitor turrets, and now a paranoia. Uniboy will be the target of the paranoia as Pobelter continues to get a couple autos onto the inhibitor turret. But look, as Mad Team go north, it allows Impact and Double Lift to take down these towers in the bottom and the middle lane in just a moment's time.
Now all 3 of them have fallen. The inhibitors are exposed. Impact working on the inhibitor itself with the help of 2 Baron-empowered cannon minions that have been able to finish it.
It's whacking away here on the TPA Shen in the mid lane.
Chain of Corruption catches out into Pobelter, takes a couple of autos. Ole comes in to save the day. The root killer is called back by Double Lift to take a look at Impact in the middle of the team. Already taken out Breeze. K follows shortly, and Uniboy, you're running away from your base, mate. Pobelter comes in to save Smithy. Unleashes his power, not enough for the kill, but it doesn't matter. The Nexus turrets are the focus. The base is where TL are paying their attention. Impact, Ole, and Double Lift start taking down the Nexus, and they will pick up their first win as Team Liquid will have their stats just a touch more. Take out Liang, and Team Liquid take down Mad Team.
Took them a while, but Team Liquid are on the board. 1 win for them now on group stage to work with and try to continue from here.
For me, the way they played, the communication they demonstrated, and the fact that they showed such a stark improvement from yesterday's games is what's screaming in my head. Every single thing that went wrong yesterday seemed fixed today.
After yesterday, it does seem like an apt reaction, better safe than sorry, and to err on that side. Definitely somewhere to work with, but people will have, eyes towards improvements as well. Mushing up those time trials, pushing up a little bit more aggressively.
But a well-deserved bow for Team Liquid to the Busan faithful. Nice cheers coming through from them. Sort of game where if you just look purely at the statistics, you see 10 kills and only 1 kill and 1 Drake for the side of Mad Team. But the game was closer and closer for longer.